Blessed love, my family. Give thanks for your presence. At this moment, we are on a mission seeking for real partners. We are establishing a real partnership in this what we consider a real war. Let me be clear from the onset. We will be speaking of finance. This is not a word to everyone. This is primarily for those who appreciate the works that we do, those who love the mission that we are on. Not appreciate hate, which means to magnify the hate, but appreciate love. Magnify the love. As most of you would know, one of our videos on YouTube was taken down a few weeks ago. That left us with a strike against our channel and a handful of restrictions for us to go over. Many people has literally told us in the past that you should monetize your channel. Now, to be very clear, I have no intention, neither did I have any passion whatsoever to do that. But even if I did, that is something that was never possible and is not possible now because of the restrictions. Number one, that cannot be done. And then again, even without the restrictions, it was already restricted in the region that I am in, where I live. So Radio Anu was also taken down a few days after. And within a few days, it also came back up. As you also know, unlike many other channels, we do not make it a habit or even a part of our business at all to ask for any donations or contributions. This also is for several reasons. Number one, as we have expressed in the past, we honestly don't think that we should ask for such from an audience that can see the works that we are doing. Number two, even in the past, after being encouraged by others to solicit donations and contributions, we established the PayPal system. Those of you who have attempted to contribute via that PayPal know for sure that it never worked. There was always an issue. Email and Facebook shut down several times, plus other things behind the scenes that I would not even mention here. No Patreon and being ostracized from the executive YouTube club, I am sincerely asking you, those of you who admire and appreciate the work that we do, to assist us in this venture of uplifting our people, physical, soul, and mind. I am not asking you to contribute, and I am not asking you for any donation. I am just asking you to patronize. You know, we have begun to create a series of ebooks from Anu Ancient and Modern Revisited to the ebook The True Biblical Land of Israel. Of course, our children books like The Great Kings and Queens of Africa. You know, we have our video lecture series. We also have our DVD documentaries from the Master of Ceremony 7 and the Night of the Black Tiger. You also know, as it relates to Radio Anu, there's a monthly subscription where you literally get the programs that are done nightly on the shock of the hour. Of course, on one level, you will be assisting myself as I am also assisting you. It is just a genuine and justified exchange of goods and services. Now, there's much more behind the scenes that I care not to say on this medium. Now, I have no criminal record, well known and accepted in my community. but it seems like there's something coming out of my mouth that is a bother to some. And I'm not cursing, and there's no guile coming from between my teeth. Just what I consider to be the truth. My brothers and sisters who love me and love the work, as I love you as well, I'm being very straight. We're on the battlefield. So I'm asking you to partner with me, to assist me on the battlefield. We're not asking for anything as contributions and donations. We are asking you to patronize what we have to offer. Give thanks. Obviously, there would be a reason why we ask. So you could email me at priestisaac27@gmail.com and I'll give you more information. I am looking forward to hearing from you. Salamta. Blessed love to one and all. Give thanks for your presence with us. Of course, you know the shock of the hour. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. Of course, just praying and hoping that all is well. And I pray that your day is wonderful, not just going good and went well, but continues to go well, continue to be upful and productive and prosperous. You know, we should definitely continue to carry that prosperity thought, always thinking positive, putting away the negative, you know, and expressing love to each and every one, because we are love beings, we are light beings. It doesn't make any sense trying to be, you know, outside of the scope of love and the frequency of love, to carry hatred and what we call bitterness and bad-mindedness and covetousness and all of these things. You should, you know, definitely concentrate on the love frequency. Let me say now, today we're going to touch upon the prophecies. Listen to this. The prophecies of Family Guy. Now, I'm sure Family Guy, I should say specifically, I'm sure you all know the series, the cartoon animated half-an-hour series that comes on these television stations, Family Guy. I'm sure some of you could remember the days of The Simpsons. And then now, as I said, it's morphed into the Family Guy era, and of course the American Dad, and a lot of different things that they have on the tube for you to watch. But anyway, we're going to be speaking about the prophecies of Family Guy. And you may say, prophecies? Which prophet is on Family Guy? Well, if you watch Family Guy enough, I think Jesus made an appearance one time. I think Moses, if I'm not mistaken, even Muhammad or one of them fellas there was on Family Guy at one time or the other. You know, different biblical and religious beings have appeared. But it's more than just that. Many of you have come to know your good brother, myself, through the lectures that we have done directly dealing with, of course, fairy tale, holidays, and nursery crimes. So you know that we definitely take our time to look into the messages that are being emanated, whether they be subliminally, covert, overt, scrupulously or unscrupulously. But we speak about the messages that come out of Follywood or Hollywood, whatever the case may be. So obviously within the cartoons, there is an agenda. Within the movies, there is an agenda. Within the sitcom, you have an agenda. The comedy show, the music, the entertainment, the news, there is an agenda. They're not just there to make you laugh. They're not just there to make you feel like you have a friend. They're not just there to let you know what's going on in the world. They have an agenda. When you lock off the television, if you ever do, you're supposed to be left with a warped state of mind. You're supposed to be carrying out the will of whatever it is you were watching, believe it or not. So that is why they have networks dedicated to your children, so they can develop them, not, I was going to say evolve, but they can be developed into kids. That's why they have networks designed for the teenagers. They're kids already. So it's to turn them into some other stuff. I don't want to say what as yet. Let us just go into this. So now the point is, there is an example I give from time to time of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When Jazzy Jeff came into the room with a life-size cardboard cutout of Bill Cosby, and the Fresh Prince asked Jazzy Jeff, so I mean, where you going with that? Bill Cosby, you know, life-size, it looks just like Bill, not an artist rendition. There was a picture of Bill Cosby, a life-size picture on a cardboard cutout, and Jazzy Jeff brought it into the kitchen, and the Fresh Prince was in the kitchen. This is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the Fresh Prince commented on his cutout, and he asked him about the Whitney Houston one that he had yesterday. Now, this was not on you didn't see the Whitney Houston cutout, you know. But the fact that the Prince asked the Jeff, where is the Whitney Houston one you had yesterday? That means that yesterday, although it's just an acting, it's theater, but the impression the audience is supposed to get is that yesterday, the Jazzy one came through with a Whitney Houston cutout made of cardboard. Now he's with Bill Cosby. So where is the Whitney Houston from yesterday? And his reply to the fresh one was that Whitney Houston fell apart. And the choice of words, Whitney Houston fell apart in the shower. That's on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Whitney Houston fell apart in the shower. Now, we all know how Whitney Houston came to her demise. Whitney Houston died in a bathtub. Now, we may just, come on, priest, you always, to be very honest, priest, I will admit some of your stuff is real mystical, but I think you kind of stress it a little bit too far. That's just a coincidence. I agree. It's a coincidence. That means it coincides. That means the two events are linked together with each other to bring a reality. All right, hold on. I'm showing you that within Hollywood, because I don't have to say Hollywood, because Hollywood alone, shows you that the Holly is, remember the Hollywood. There's a wood called Hollywood, It's a very good plant. There's nothing wrong with the plant, the holly tree. It's a very medicinal plant. A lot of the natural toothpastes and these different things have the holly tree root and branches and so in them. So it's, but it's a plant that when you burn this holly wood, a real plant, the holly log, when you burn it and you sit around it and you inhale it, it makes you, what happens? Hallucinate, Now, take that into the realistic essence of Hollywood that we know, the studios in California, the television movies, Hollywood. When you inhale Hollywood, I don't mean to smell the television now, but when you take in Hollywood for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you'll begin to hallucinate. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see flying pigs. But then again, Hollywood already produces flying pigs. Hollywood produces dogs that talk. The first talking horse, I guess it was Mr. Ed. All of this is coming from Hollywood. Flying superheroes and all kind of stuff. Hollywood. Now, we would say, okay, that's non-fiction. Or that's fiction, pardon me. That's fiction. But you would be surprised that a lot of things that are supposed to be non-fiction are just as fictional as the fiction. But Hollywood makes it appear to be real. That's the power of entertainment. That's the power of the television. That's the power of these channels. That's why they call channels. Change the channel. Man, trust me. no matter what channel you go through, more than likely you're ending up in the same place, in the pit of hell, with these different channels that they have. So just pick one. You're still gonna end up into the boiling pot of the fella with the red suit and the horns and the pitchfork, which is supposedly Satan. You know, I'm kind of stretching it a bit there, but the point is, none of these channels are going to channel you to a proper character. If you build a good character, more than likely you didn't get it from the television. And even the channels that have some level of morality to them, and how to be a good soul, and how to love your neighbor, and how to love your parents, and how to be a disciplined child. Yes, these channels still have a religious philosophy that's from the pit of hells too. So there's no way you could really get around it when it comes to the tell, lie, vision. But yet still the tell, lie, vision has some hidden truths within it. But the truth that they're giving to you is the truth that they manifest themselves, as I said, years before Whitney Houston died in the shower. They were already saying it on television, prime time, that Whitney Houston fell apart in the shower. Now that is what I want to do this evening. We want to take a look at Family Guy. I keep saying Family Guide. Family Guy. And this is actually something taken from 25 Family Guy fan theories so crazy that it might be true. Now I'm not going to go through all the 25 theories, but there are a few that I want to highlight. Now, let me just say before I go deeper into this, anybody that sits and watches Family Guy, I don't know where we are, but it's obvious that that is really the whatever it was made for. It definitely gives off an impression to the mind of the watcher, whether they be big or small, that the same level of ignorance the world carries today. You know what I mean? You're a free person, you can do what you want, whether you're gay, transsexual, or change your gender, or all of these things are expressed. A lot of homosexuality, a lot of bit of quagmire, let's just put it that way. You see all of that in Family Guy. So we all know it's nothing real. It has been voted the worst program of the week by a specific magazine for teachers and parents coming out of the US. But before we go into all of that stats, let us listen to this coming from the small presentation I told you I'm going to put forward, and then we'll reason on it a bit more. The Prophecies of Family Guy. Family Guy. Hey guys.
Family Guy is one of the most popular television shows in the world, so it's no surprise that people like to talk about it. Like any other popular franchise, a lot of that talk centers around the conception of theories related to the characters and stories within the show. In this video, we'll take you through some of the more interesting ones that fans have come up with. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos.
Yep, you heard it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button when it reaches on YouTube.
Let's make this quick.
Hey,
it's no secret that
this ain't your show. What's wrong with you? You take your time, man. I'm the one that sets the pace here. What's wrong with him? You have your own show, brother.
Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane voices a number of characters on the show. Brian the dog is one of them, and this theory suggests that Brian has been writing the show all along. The theory stems from the fact that MacFarlane barely changes his voice to play the character, as well as the fact that MacFarlane and Brian's views on subjects like politics and religion are the same. Brian is the smartest character in the show and gets to date a string of beautiful women, in spite of the fact that he's not even human, so it makes sense that he would write himself that way. It would also explain the endless cutaway scenes, because Brian's still a dog and has the attention span you'd expect of a canine. Based on the relationships of the characters they voice, there's a theory that Seth MacFarlane secretly has a crush on Alex Borstein. When you consider that MacFarlane voices Brian, Peter, Quagmire, and Stewie, the fact that all of those characters are obsessed with Borstein's character Lois in one way or another certainly raises eyebrows.
Okay, so just for those who may not know, so that's the creator of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane. Okay. And he is the voice. He plays the voice of the dog that they call Brain, or Brian. If you switch the letters, you get Brain. And he's apparently the smartest fella in the whole house. He plays Stewie, which is the little baby. Okay. He plays the voice of Quagmire, which is the perverted long-nosed fella there. And he also plays the voice of Peter. And all of these people are infatuated. And infatuation in this case, I don't think we can replace it with like or love. They are lustfully captivated by the female character. What's her name there? Lois or something, I can't remember. But anyway, the female character, the name will come up. She is played by Alex Borstein. Now this is a serious thing, you know. So this fella here is playing the creator. He has 4 characters in, 4 of the key characters. Brian the dog, because the dog loved the woman too, you know, Lois or whatever her name is, the dog. And the dog has mated with her, if you want to use as calm terms as you want, as you can, you know. The dog has mated with the woman on the shore already, you know. And her husband Peter, even the little baby, her baby, even her little baby. So imagine children watching this, her little baby, the Stewie, that has more talk. He's more eloquent than even his bigger brother and sister, and any of them. Maybe the dog is the only one that can out-talk the little baby. Can you imagine that? Even the little baby has had lustful thoughts about his own mommy on a cartoon that doesn't really show at midnight. It might show at midnight, but it still shows in the reach of anybody to see it if you want to see it. Yeah, it's right there on the prime stations. What kind of mentality is this? What sort of medicine is this that we're giving to our children? To anybody, really. This is a sick society in the making here.
Ultimately, the theory suggests that the dynamics in the show are the manifestation of MacFarlane's feelings for Borstein in real life.
Yes, of course. Of course. As they said at the beginning, the dog that he plays has the best scenes, if you want to call it that. He's the most brilliant of the whole crew. As the man that's narrating here says, the dog has the best women. The dog.
When Stewie traveled with his future self, Stu, into the future in Stu and Stewie's Excellent Adventure, he met a very different version of Meg, as she'd undergone sex reassignment surgery and changed her name to Ron. There's a theory that Ron will actually become a permanent character on Family Guy at some point during its run, allowing Mila Kunis to leave the show. Fox probably wouldn't mind cutting her gigantic salary anyways. Peter Griffin's spending in Family Guy is crazy, and some of the things he's been able to afford, the Peter Copter and the Peterang, for example, just aren't consistent with a dumb guy in a menial job. This theory suggests that ever since season 2 of the show, Stewie has been making bank as a Calvin Klein model, and that's what's funding Peter's extravagance. The Griffins have been rich ever since Stewie started modeling in A Picture is Worth $1,000. It makes a whole lot of sense. In spite of the fact we know the intimate secrets of countless Family Guy characters, we still have no explanation regarding why Brian can talk. There is, however, a theory that he's smarter than your average dog because he was once a human who had his brain inserted into a canine body by the CIA.
Okay, hold on. He had his brain, hold on. He had his brain inserted into a human body by the CIA. Sure about that? Sure about what? There's a cartoon. What do you mean? Don't try to put me in no trouble. It's CIA, FBI. Okay, there you go. All right. So the young one is hip. So this is what I'm saying. Now, anybody that watches, what do you call it? Family Guy and American Dad, you would know that even in Family Guy alone, there are countless scenes of the CIA popping up. Now, the American Dad, American Dad is also the creation of Seth MacFarlane. And hear this, the Family Guy was aired, although I can't put the dates right, but Family Guy first aired after Super Bowl. And a few years after, the American Dad aired after Super Bowl. And if you understand the dynamics of the Super Bowl, that's the Super Bowl. But in Family Guy now, there's some subtle mentions and even some straight in your face, mentions of the CIA. And then the American Dad itself is all really surrounded by the whole CIA and authority and all of that. And they're both made by the same person. But hear this, there's a theory that the CIA swapped somebody's brain and put it in the dog. The same dog that the brain, I said, no, Brian, his name is Brian, B-R-A-I-N, Brian. If you switch the A and the I in Brian, you get brain. So this same dog, Brian, his brain supposedly came from somebody else. Well, that's a theory. Of course, it can't be real. The CIA did it. Well, it's just a cartoon, so let's not get overboard now. Let's not overdo. It's just a cartoon. Yeah, just a cartoon. Now listen to this. Dumb cartoon. Okay. Well.
For grown-ups.
I'm telling you. Listen.
Yet Family Guy is set in the same universe as American Dad. On American Dad, the talking goldfish Klaus is actually a German athlete who had his brain swapped with a fish by the CIA. It is therefore...
Okay, hold on. So look at all of them nastiness. So, okay, so in American Dad, okay, so this is not a theory now. This is a part of the script. In American Dad, a picture that has nothing to do with Family Guy. Yes, they do. What do you mean? They were made by the same person. Oh, you can see the characters and, they look similar. Okay, you're right. And they all show the same sick, perverted kind. Yeah, so, okay, fair enough.
Look like everybody kissing.
Nastiness. So, this is to show is that they're exchanging saliva. Imagine that. So, I'm just showing you now that the Klaus, the fish, in Family American Dad. Now this is not a theory. This is according to the script that the fish that the goldfish bowl talking to the American Dad.
He went through the same thing as the dog.
Well, the thing with the dog is a theory. They don't have that in the script, but in the script of its brother show. The goldfish that is so smart is literally a Russian athlete who had his brain transferred to the fish. Now this is very key, So let's get it straight. So on American Dad, the smart, brilliant fish had its brain transferred. Or the fish's brain was the brain of a Russian athlete that was transferred to the fish. But the link is that this is the same company that's dealing with the dog. The same CIA thing is coming up, and it's made by the same person, man. Let's follow this.
Entirely plausible that all of the intelligent animal characters in Seth MacFarlane's shared animated universe are the product of illegal experimentation by the CIA, including...
Okay, hold on before you include it. Remember they have an alien in Family... not Family Guy. American Dad, I was going to say Family Dad. They have an alien in American Dad. And we all know the Area 51 conversation and the aliens that were found here and there supposedly. Let's follow.
Brian Griffin. Some people have theorized Family Guy is a TV show within a TV show, but there are actually competing theories in relation to it. Some fans argue that Family Guy is a TV show within American Dad, and others argue the reverse, while others believe they're TV shows within each other, which is just kind of trippy. Some people think that Family Guy has always been a TV show within a TV show, but American Dad became one over time. The best evidence is an American Dad episode where Stan lists his favorite fictional dogs, one of whom is Brian Griffin, and there's a Family Guy episode in which the audience gets a behind-the-scenes look at what the actors who play the Griffins go through to film the show. There's also a scene in American Dad where they cut filming to celebrate their 1000th vagina joke, revealing a set and production crew. Could it be that Joe Swanson was the superhero known as the Tick before he became the Griffins' neighbor and Family Guy?
No, that is really disgusting, eh? Really disgusting. All right, let's jump a bit here.
Nothing else. The episode Meet the Quagmires revolved around Peter going back in time and causing himself to end up with Molly Ringwald instead of Lois. The episode featured a joke that many fans have theorized was a prediction of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia's death. In the episode, Death announced that Dick Cheney had shot Scalia in a hunting accident, and a few years later, Scalia died after a hunting trip. Although he died of natural causes while on the trip, some fans of the series still suspect somehow Family Guy was able to predict his death.
Okay, hold on. No, don't jump so far. Okay. Anthony Scalia, let's be clear here. He was a Supreme Court justice. I'm just saying the reality of what has happened, eh? Okay. No conspiracy theorizing here, okay? Let's just stick to the facts. All right. Yeah. So in one of these episodes in Family Guy now, you have Dick Cheney. And you know Dick Cheney? Dick Cheney is... Who's Dick Cheney again? Oh yeah, I think Dick Cheney is one of them former vice presidents of the United States. He was vice president under George Bush II. You understand? Okay. So Dick Cheney, a hell of a guy. You heard me. Now, in their Family Guy now, Dick Cheney shot the Supreme Court Justice Anthony Scalia in a hunting trip accident. He killed the man while they on a hunting trip, but it was an accident. And the same man died just a short while after coming from a hunting trip.
Cheney had shot Scalia in a hunting accident, and a few years later, Scalia died after a hunting trip. Although he died of natural causes while on the trip, some fans of the series still suspect somehow Family Guy was able to predict his death.
Okay, hold on. Now, that sounds very similar to Whitney Houston in The Shower. That these programs, that's what this is entitled, the Prophecies of Family Guy. And although that may sound a little like, okay, Priest, it sounds interesting, but I mean, it needs a little tightening up. Okay, fair enough. We're going to tighten it up. But before we start to tighten it up, I'm saying, in the same way that Whitney Houston fell apart in The Shower on a sitcom, I find it interesting that this television show that is, number one for years, they could tell you that a Supreme Court justice is going to die on a hunting trip. And he died just coming from a hunting trip. But what is interesting, the person that killed him in the Family Guy was the Vice President of the United States of America. Let's not take away the whole CIA and all of that from this. Okay.
Family Guy has gradually become darker and darker since around season 8, and there's a very convincing theory as to why that might be the case. In that 8th season, several characters' demeanors start changing. Quagmire went from mere perverted comic relief to having more fleshed out relationships, and Brian began to entertain the idea of suicide, for example. And in each character's case, it's because of their haunting experiences, such as Quagmire's sister being mercilessly beaten by her abusive boyfriend, and Brian being outed as a poor writer. The community of tragic souls in the show essentially fleshes out over time until fans are left with a dark, dysfunctional reality. In 2015...
Okay, hold on there before you get to 2015. So that whole suicidal aspect, that's slightly next level, but it's very dangerous. You see, it's a cartoon. Cartoon attracts children. I don't care what time of night you play it. I don't care which channel you show it on. Once it's a cartoon, children will watch it. There's nothing, you can't tell nobody to lock off the television and go to their room anymore. Not if they're going with their phone. Not if they're going with their tablet. Because what they were watching on television is right on the box, right on the tablet, right on the laptop. What you talking about? It's on their watches now. What you talking about? You can't hide nothing from nobody. People can hologram things on their wall from a little box that they can hide in their pockets right now. So this is a cartoon. Children will gravitate to it. Children will want to watch it. I was saying on a video that was banned. I was saying on a video that was taken off of the internet that the whole concept of the bullying is another agenda. Why? Because children now. So there's this atmosphere being created where children are literally hurting themselves because they've been quote unquote bullied. Children are slitting their wrists because they've been called a name and this and that. I'm being very clear. When we were going to so-called school, there wasn't no bullying. Nobody ever talk about no bullying. We never don't hear about that. The most we know about, you might get a little rougher. Right? You might get a little shaker. Especially if you were acting a little feminine and a little, you know what I mean. You get a little shake up, yes. Give thanks for them shake up there. If some of us, well not us, me, but you know, yeah. But I know some brothers that if they didn't get that shake up as children, I don't know what they would be today. They'd be family guys. Yeah, as such, guys for sure. I don't know about the family part. You know, it's a natural thing, my brothers and sisters. Animals do it. Watch the lions, watch the young tigers, watch any little animal. The young lion cubs, they play together. Hey, hey. But when the food come in, the stronger ones of the lions, the little lion cubs, they eat first. You know. The weaker ones have to wait till they're done and the belly full, and if something left over, they can eat. They were all playing together a while ago, but when the food comes, it's the strongest survive. So you got to learn to be strong. You got to learn, you know me, to run with the pack. That's what it's called, running with the pack. And I'm telling you clear, I could never encourage no one, children, to abuse, to mock, you know, or to hurt another child. I could never encourage that. I would be a maniac to even try to encourage anything like that. What's wrong? I'm not saying if a child goes overboard and even, you know, let's use the term beat up another child, even to mock or say something that is not nice. He or she should be corrected. I'm not mad, I'm not crazy, that's the reality. But I am saying it's natural for young children to correct each other in the way that they know how, you know. And believe me, I'm not talking about no bullying. This bullying stuff now that has just crept up has this atmosphere around it. I'm being very clear. Especially when a young boy or a young girl, especially a young boy, you are a young boy, and you're going to school with a ballerina dress, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen? You expect somebody to come and say, hey, what's going on, Tom? What's wrong with you? You understand? But we've been taught now, when Tom get checked, nobody do Tom nothing, you know, just maybe a little word, maybe the fellas, you know, throw some paper balls at his head. Come on, what do you expect to happen? You going to school talking about you have on training bras and you're a young boy. You don't expect somebody to throw ice cream at you? But what I'm saying now, even listen, I want to be clear here. Because this is a very, this subject here, you have to have on surgical gloves to deal with it. Because even those that throw the ice cream, I'm not saying that you do not correct them, because this has to be handled properly. But we live in a society that the little boy that came with the ballerina dress to school, I don't know what they do in the television programs, but somehow they have turned the psyche of our young children to go home now and write a note and do some sort of internet video and tell the whole world that they went to school today and all the fellas were so mean to them and they're gonna slit their wrists now and sorry about this, mommy, goodbye, daddy, and they hang themselves. That happens every single day. That happens every single day. That has become a what you call a norm now, for a child to go and hang themselves, to slit their wrists because they went to school and somebody called them a name. And why they call them the name? Because they're wearing high heels and they're a little boy. I ain't making it up. You know that's what's going on. You know that's what's going on. Man, if you're going down that lane, be thankful for the brethren and the sisterins and the loved ones that will come and shake you up and say, hey, Michael, shake up. You're Michael, brother. You're not Michelle. Shake up. Give thanks. If I was going that way, I'd be happy for somebody to shake me up. Trust me. But no, because everybody, you know, there's some of us that are born gay. Imagine that. So that's where we are now. And somebody born gay? How you can be born gay? You're a virgin and you're born gay? What are you talking about? You're born gay? So now because you're born gay, nobody's supposed to check you. Nobody's supposed to come and tell you nothing, because that's you. That's how you came from heaven, as a homosexual. No, this is not hate speech. Anybody hearing hate speech here? Because I'm going to be very clear, you know. I'm trying not to hate speech. I'm telling you. No, I'm not getting soft. I'm not backing out. But I'm trying not to hate speech. Because if I put this on the YouTube and they say it's hate speech, they might take it down. Oh, we don't care about them. I know you don't care about them. And you don't care about me neither. You don't care about me neither. Hey, check it. If I get another strike against my YouTube channel, you know, they say they're going to lock off my YouTube channel. Can you imagine that? And just today, me and my children came across, what a fella name? Some Patrick something. I don't even want to call his full name. And this is a fella from Indonesia or Polynesian or something. And he turns himself into a woman every day. And he has, all of his videos is about makeup, putting on makeup. Millions upon millions of followers he has. Just making up himself to look like a woman every day. And teaching women how to take off makeup. And the thing is, you know, a lot of us follow this and like this and leave all kind of comments. Black people, you know, black women. Oh, he's alright. He teaches me how to put on my makeup. He teaches me how to put on makeup. And this is what the world gravitate to. A fella on the internet turning himself to a woman and taking some little, what the other little fella named, Brett Boy, whatever, turning him into a woman. Well, he acting like a woman already. And this is what they promote. They will never ban that. Go and ban that, man. Ban that. They'll never ban that. But they'll ban you who's speaking the truth. You check? But the reason why I will clearly say that I will still be careful what I say is because when they ban me, those that be talking like, oh, don't worry, priest, say what you want. Say what you want. So when they ban me, what are you gonna do to assist? Because when they ban us, you see all them people you see talking about, oh, say what you want. When they ban us, right? Call them and tell them, hey, they take down the channel. Well, priest, don't worry, man. Keep your chin up. Better will come one day. Anyway, I gotta go back and watch the football game, man. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. So we can't be playing around there. We gotta make sure we gotta do what we gotta do to save the lives of people. This program I'm doing here is saving people's life. And if I gotta be careful with what I say so that I can continue to save lives, it's alright. I'll be careful with what I say. Because I know what I'm saying is not worse than some of the things I see being said. But it's not about what I say. It's about me. That's just the reality. Straight up.
Caitlyn Jenner came out as a trans woman, having previously been Bruce Jenner, a men's Olympic gold medalist. Her transition was a surprise to some, but not necessarily to Family Guy fans. The series made several jokes that now seem like strange coincidence, such as Stewie calling Jenner an elegant, beautiful Dutch woman. In another episode...
Okay, before we go there, the point I was making before is that the suicide agenda is very high. And it's obvious that even in these cartoons, this whole thing about Stewie wanted to kill himself, the dog wanted to kill himself. Several times I see the dog try to take his life. The girl there, Megan, she wanted to kill herself. At time I see Family Guy himself scratch out her name, Megan, I think it's the N, and put Megatron. Megatron, Megatron Griffin. Boy, the best Griffin is William Griffin, brother. Alright, so now Bruce Garner, he's a fella that changed his sex too. Yeah, he's a woman now. I don't remember his name, Jenny Garner or some foolishness. He changed his sex. He didn't really change it, but because that cannot happen to this, beep up themselves. He changed his sex. And this was already, let's use the term, prophesied in Family Guy. Family Guy don't say that this man gonna become a woman. Here, listen to the thing. Listen.
Fans. The series made several jokes that now seem like strange coincidence, such as Stewie calling Jenner an elegant, beautiful Dutch woman. In another episode, a cutaway gag showed Jenner performing a burlesque dance for the Navy. At the time, they were joking about the fact that Bruce Jenner's wife, Chris, wore the pants in the family, but the theory is that Family Guy predicted Bruce's transition. There's a very convincing theory that suggests Meg could be...
And he wasn't gay yet. Well, he wasn't a transgender yet. When Family Guy... The same way Family Guy already predicted that the Supreme Court man gonna get shot on the hunting trip, and he didn't get shot, but he died coming from the hunting trip. They already predict that Bruce Jenner gonna be something else, and eventually he became something else.
Stewie's mother, not his older sister, and that Lois and Brian conspired to hide the teenager's pregnancy. Peter and Chris are far too stupid to figure it out, so it's not completely out of the question. Or at least it wasn't until the Yug Lemaf episode, when Stewie's broken time machine caused time to flow in reverse, and the baby is unborn, getting sucked back inside Lois. Then again, given that Family Guy's continuity is all kinds of messed up, it's still a possibility. The episode Brian and Stewie led some fans to theorize that Seth MacFarlane was actually trying to make a terrible...
Okay, hold on a moment there. Yeah, we're going to skip through some of these here because I don't want to, I want to lose track with this. This is some serious stuff here. I want to keep on track with the prophecy. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Let me tell you something about Family Guy. Let's not lose track here because this is some serious stuff here. I'm talking... Remember, while we continue to find this, Family Guy is if you want to watch Family Guy, let's put it this way, and you go to Taiwan, you can't see it. It's banned in Taiwan. You can't see it in Indonesia. You can't see it in South Africa. You can't watch Family Guy in South Africa. You can't see it in South Korea. South Korea, not North Korea. South Korea. You cannot watch Family Guy in South Korea. You cannot watch Family Guy in Malaysia, in Egypt, in Vietnam. Interesting places. Yeah.
Not even Ethiopia.
Well, I don't think Ethiopia is on the ban, you know. I think in modern day political Ethiopia, I believe you can watch it there. But I'm just trying to show you that it's banned. It's like Pokemon and some of these things. They're banned in certain places. Glorify and give thanks to the hour of prayer. Now listen to this.
Susie is therefore theorized to be one of Bullock's avatars. The iconic Robin Williams tragically committed suicide.
Hold on here. Robin Williams. You hear what the man just called him? The iconic Robin Williams. Roxanne. You hear that song? Okay. You was the one who happened to me a while ago. Robin Williams. He is a legendary actor. Legendary. Robin Williams, the iconic. And he committed suicide, supposedly. This is another Whitney Houston coming here. He committed suicide a few years ago. But interesting, prior to that, on Family Guy, his suicide or his death was already predicted. And listen to this, 3 hours before he killed himself, supposedly, BBC aired the episode of Family Guy that spoke about Robin Williams dying. Listen to this.
2 years earlier, Family Guy aired an episode that made fans theorize that the show predicted his death. Family Guy viewer mail number 2 had a segment in which Peter discovered everything he touched turned into Robin Williams.
Hold on.
The iconic Robin Williams tragically committed suicide in 2014. 2 years earlier, Family Guy aired an episode that made fans theorize that the show
2 years earlier, man.
He'd have an avatar who just so happens to be a baby. Susie is therefore theorized to be one of Bullock's avatars. The iconic Robin Williams tragically committed suicide in 2014. 2 years earlier, Family Guy aired an episode that made fans theorize that the show predicted his death. Family Guy viewer mail number 2 had a segment in which Peter discovered everything he touched turned into Robin Williams. He became so annoyed and irritated by Williams showing up, he attempted to kill himself several times. It's an eerie coincidence.
Everything or everybody that Peter touched turned into Robin Williams. This is 2012. And there were so many Robin Williams appearing. Everything he touches Robin Williams, and he got so freaked out that Peter, tried to kill himself trying to get away from Robin Williams. Oh, come on. And listen to this.
The episode had both Robin Williams and suicide as themes. What's even more eerie is that BBC 3 aired the episode in the UK just moments before Williams' death was announced. On September 11th...
BBC 3. Who? September 11th? We're coming back to that. BBC 3. Sorry, speaking of you, sorry. BBC 3 aired the same episode with Peter trying to kill himself, running from who? Robin Williams.
Didn't that guy go?
And then 2 years after that, no, BBC aired the thing, and 3 hours after that, 3 hours after that, Robin Williams was announced dead. You say?
He's trying to run from Robin Williams, but I thought he committed suicide.
Now, so the creator of this, or these, Guy and Dad, he had a very interesting, let's just say, a close shave on the 11th of September, 9/11 as they call it, 2001. Now if somebody told you they had a close shave Close shave means, well, we don't shave, but it means that when you're shaving your beard, you know, when you shave, you can cut yourself. So I don't guess people call it a close shave. I mean, you shave so nice, but you don't get cut. He had a close shave, supposedly, on 9/11/2001. And obviously, if you said 2001, the 11th of September, you got to be talking about when the planes supposedly flew into the buildings, and more supposedly than the rest of the events, the plane flew into the Pentagon. And supposedly again, oh, this is even worse. The plane crashed in, where did this one crash again? Was it Pennsylvania or something like that? But anyway, interesting place to crash in Pennsylvania. Right. Seth MacFarlane.
In 2001, Seth MacFarlane was scheduled to depart from Boston on American Airlines Flight 11. 15 minutes after the plane took off, it was hijacked and flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
Okay, before we go there,
Seth,
because they say he was drunk and he was coming from some party and he missed the flight and all of that. Alright. I don't know if that's why he shows some... Brian is always drunk, eh? Brian the dog. In fact, drunk and high. Always smoking herb. Always drinking rum. Brian the dog. I don't know if because Seth was drunk, he missed the flight. That's a flight anybody would want to miss, eh? The 9/11 flight 11 that flew into the towers that looked like a number 11 on the 11th of September. You check what I'm saying? Yeah, I would like to miss that flight if I had that flight. But the point is, yeah, very good. But the point is, that's scum Ben Laden. But the point is that MacFarlane now was drunk. So for him to be, popularizing or making being drunk, well, as I said, one of his main character, the Brian, the brain, the dog, drinks a lot. Drinks and parties and smokes and always high and drunk. In fact, in the magazine High Times, 2009, the dog, Brian, was the cartoon dog, was named the Stoner of the Year, 2009. So I'm just saying, but at the same time, there's some key individuals that were supposed to fly that day, and they received calls. Politicians, they received calls not to go anywhere. So to say that this fellow was just drunk, I mean, to me, he has a very important role to play in the psychology of the populace of this planet. Anyway, well, listen to the rest of this now.
was supposed to be on board, but a hangover and a mix-up regarding his departure time meant he arrived 10 minutes too late. Many fans of the series theorize he used the experience as inspiration for the direct-to-video film Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story, which they believe...
Listen to this, Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. Listen to this one now.
...is a 9/11 allegory.
In that you see the plane flying through the arches and everything, Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. Because remember, he's Stewie too, He's Stewie, he's Brian, he's Peter, and he's the Quagmire. What a Quagmire. A lot of us, we don't even know what Quagmire means. What a Quagmire. Alright.
Had a near-death experience in the episode and later realized he must go back in time to prevent that from happening.
Stewie had a near-death
Griffin, The Untold Story, which they believe is a 9/11 allegory. Stewie had a near-death experience in the episode and later realized he must go back in time to prevent that from happening in order to fix future events. Moreover, Stewie's future address in the episode is 1109.
1109, his future address, 1109. How interesting.
And after averting death, he remarked, "Yes, I did it. I stopped the tower from falling."
Yes, I did it. I stopped the tower from falling.
Speaking of Stewie, there's a theory that Family Guy takes place completely in the little guy's head, or more specifically, it's his perception of the world and how he tries to understand it from his limited knowledge. The shenanigans of the show are, therefore, extremely exaggerated because it's all from a baby's perspective. The most compelling part of the argument supporting this theory is Brian has the ability to talk due to the fact that Stewie simply sees the dog as a member of the family, the others of whom could, of course, talk. There's a theory that suggests Family Guy somehow predicted the tragic 2013 death of actor Paul Walker in a car accident. At the time of...
Paul Walker, the actor, died in a car accident. Paul Walker. the actor, died in a car accident. Alright. Let's see how Family Guy could have prophesied this one.
His death, several conspiracy theories popped up but were quickly shot down. But the Family Guy episode Life of Brian seemed to eerily foreshadow it, especially when Brian was killed by a car. The episode aired just 6 days before Walker died, and the theory
Okay, so there was this bloody episode on Family Guy where Brian died in a car accident. 6 days. 6 days before Paul Walker died in a car accident. Okay. So Brian, the dog, Brian died in the car accident. Okay. Paul Walker died in the car accident. 6 days apart. Brian and Paul, 6 days apart. Okay. Okay, that could just be a coincidence.
Just that because Walker's name was Brian in the Fast and the Furious movies, that it was a prediction, and Family Guy's writers were somehow aware of Walker's impending death.
Oh, so Walker was called Brian in the car movie. Oh, and everything. Okay, let's listen to this one here. Turban. This one is Turban come something.
The episode Turban Cowboy had two unrelated.
Turban Cowboy. Okay, listen to this now. Turban Cowboy. Now,
Is he a cowboy?
I've never seen a cowboy in a turban. I'm trying to figure that one out. But anyway.
Scenes that caused a considerable amount of controversy and led fans to theorize Family Guy had predicted the Boston bombing.
No, this to me, this is beyond denial. This is beyond denial. The Boston bombing.
Cutaway gag, Peter was shown winning the Boston Marathon by mowing down the runners in his car. Later, Peter used a cell phone to accidentally set off a series of bombs. The episode aired roughly 1 month before the bombings occurred. The situation became even more controversial when someone edited the two scenes to make it seem like they were connected and furthered the theory that Family Guy predicted the event. However, Seth
So you have the Boston Bridge. Right there, the Boston bomber happened just after this episode. So every time they bring out a specific episode, something happens that you see on the episode. Peter is driving his car, and this fella is driving through the whole marathon, killing everybody in his way to win. You understand? The Turban Cowboys. What is this here? And then within a short period of time, within the Boston Marathon, the Boston bombers struck. That's just a few years ago, if you all don't remember. You remember? Yeah, the Boston bombers. They're supposed to be two brothers who got training somewhere. They fly go somewhere and got, you know what I mean? They turned to terrorists and they came back to America and they killed some people at the Boston Marathon, which is an annual event. We have plenty of people running the Boston Marathon. So just to show those who may not know, and a few years ago at the Boston Marathon, a lot of people lost their life because of two people that planted some bombs, supposedly. But we're watching on Family Guy now that Peter, before the bombing happened, Peter run through all them people the same way these terrorists just jump into cars and buses and in France and England and all over and drive through the crowd. We see Peter doing it before them. Family Guy, what kind of Family Guy he is, doing that before them. And listen to this now. After he run them over, he go in the restaurant on his cellular phone and detonate a bomb on his cellular phone. And Turban Cowboys, you know. And just after that, the Boston bombing happened. Paul Walker, in the episode Life of Brian the dog get run over by a car. Paul Walker get run over by a car 6 days after. And Paul in the movie with Fast and Furious driving the car was named Brian. These things are too, you know what I mean? The coincidence is too strong. BBC, man. BBC airing just hours before Robin Williams killed himself. BBC air an episode of the same Family Guy where everything Peter touched turned to Robin Williams. And then 3 hours after, Robin Williams dead. What are you talking about? Even fellas that turn in from fellas to girls, I guess, I don't know. Their sex change was already spoken about before they change. And this is serious. We mentioned the Supreme Justice who died coming from the hunting trip. When he died at a hunting trip in Family Guy, and he was killed by the Vice President of the USA. Come on, don't be playing around with me, man. You better hope nobody put you in Family Guy, you know. I see all kind of people in Family Guy, you know, Bill Clinton and Bill Cosby, and all sorts of people make special appearances. I think even the Flintstones appear in the Family Guy. So it's nothing. Ray Charles and so in Family Guy. You have to BB King in Family Guy. Sometimes you have to sit down and wonder. And most of these appearances happened before these brothers and some sisters died. Most stars, rappers and so appear in Family Guy. I show Tupac and Biggie in Family Guy. You know, well, they would have to appear after their passing. But the point is, a lot of celebrity passed through Family Guy. And listen, MacFarlane, apparently, Seth, when he started it, he always had this concept that death should be in every episode. And if you watch it good, you will notice that the Grim Reaper is a prominent addition to every episode. Well, most episodes, the fella that comes in the hood and the sickle in his hand, that's the Grim Reaper. That's the fella that comes to meet you, to take you into Death World. And he's always in Family Guy. So what's going on here? American Dad. You can't separate. I can't explain everything in this little time, but American Dad. You can hardly separate American Dad from Family Guy. And we know that American Dad is CIA without a doubt. And that thing about the goldfish with the brain of the Russian athlete, just to show you that you can morph it into Family Guy, the dog with the brain of whoever, maybe Seth, and still occupied. Because remember, you know, that whole thing about one person being 4 persons and 3 persons, we covered that already in our fairy tale folly days and nursery crimes. That's why Batman, remember, these people are people that have mental issues. Bruce Banner, Bruce Banner, and Bruce Wayne, and David Bruce Banner, and however it goes, Bruce Banner, what do you call it? Batman and Hulk is the same person. We already unraveled that. That's why you have 3 different Hulks. That's why you have 3 different Robins. That's why most of these characters, they split. You have a good and bad Superman, good and bad Spider-Man. All of these things are split personalities. All of these people, from Batman, Superman, Hulk, they either saw their mother kill their father, or they themselves kill their father at their mother's grave. In the case, I think, of Batman, or Hulk, or David Banner, and Superman, he left his home and saw his whole planet blow up with his family. All of these super zeros always usually see their parents die in some very tragic way. Now, I think Batman was, his parents was mugged in some alley. That's why he became so, you know, acting martial arts and espionage and all of that, because he wanted to avenge his parents' death against all criminals. That's Batboy. And the same thing now is Hulk now, the Bruce Banner or whatever his name is. He's the one that killed his father at his mother's grave. Thomas and Martha, and these different words, names, you know. This is a serious thing. This is psychology. This is psychology. I was going to say at its highest level, but at its lowest level, working on the psyche of children who will eventually become adults. And some of these adults cartoons is as if they make them to catch the adults that they didn't catch properly enough. So within all of these cartoons, these sitcoms, remember, you know, almost every program you watch on TV now, somebody has to be homosexual in it. You know? Because we are teaching the society what is accepted and what is not. You see?
Every cartoon that children watch, they usually pick it up and rewind it so they can act like the same cartoon.
And the thing is now that when you put a video up there talking about if children are in your video, that wasn't there all the time, you know. After we got that strike against our channel, now every time I put up a video, they want to have children in the video and something about children. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, they have children that make videos. What's this? What you coming down on me for? Me? I don't even curse. We don't even disrespect no one. But you see, there's certain little things we don't stand for. We're not going to be following nobody about bullying and gay and everybody's okay. And if he wants to wear pink. Nah, we ain't backing none of that stuff. We ain't no bunny. We're not backing none of that. Yeah. So this is the higher level of Bugs Bunny. Not the higher, the lower level of the Family Guy and all of that kind of stuff. And it's more than just psychology and mind bending. It's obvious that this is life and death. This ain't no joke, you know. Dead as the people dying, you know. And this cartoon talking about it before it happened. Rastafari, this is something else. Them is the thing they want to ban. So let me just say now. Well, we might put it on the YouTube more than likely. And I hope those that would see it before it ever come down would have the guts to stand up in the battlefield. That's why we even, that ad that we put out, to let the people understand. Because you see, the thing is, you know, this is another thing, let me say, we can't tell people everything. My youths right here with me know more of what's going on behind the scene than even our listeners. Sometimes we take a chance, you know, and I want my listeners to get this. There are things happening you do not know about. There are things happening that you do not know about behind the scenes. I'm trying to show you that sometimes we come in front of the scenes and tell you, hey, this just happened, that just happened, the other just happened. But when we really look at it, nobody can really do anything, you know. And I shouldn't say nobody can, but I don't think we are mentally ready yet. That's why I have to stress sometimes. People might get tired of me saying so. This is a battlefield. That's what it is, straight up. And if we are on the battlefield and we say, hey, we just got shot, and we don't see nobody coming with guns to help us to fight, sometimes it's better that we don't tell nobody we got shot. Because when you say, listen to this now, you on the battlefield now, and somebody shoot you, and you say, hey, fellas, I just got shot, and you looking for at least 5 of your comrades to coming over the hill, and instead of they coming, more of the enemy coming. Because remember, when you say, hey, I just got shot, it's not just your teammates hear you, the opposition hear too. So sometimes when you come on YouTube, when you come on the media and you're trying to tell your own people something, you know, but they're not listening. Sometimes they hear and they say, yeah man, priest, I'm with you 100%. They can't stop this. But then when they stop it and they say, hey, they stop it, you know. Well, boy, so you're gonna just, you know, chin up, brother, you know. Anyway, Serena Williams playing tennis, I gotta go watch her. Beep. Yeah, real thing. It's sad.
Did you know that Bart Simpson linked up with the baby India Family Guy?
Okay, you see, all Bart Simpson made an appearance. Brat Simpson, yeah, yes, right. That's how serious it is. So you know, give thanks. You know, And Jumbo Princess.
Ujambo.
Okay. And Barry Ghani.
And Zui. Asante.
Asante. Okay. Yes, my brothers and sisters, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, and come on, if you have not subscribed for the Shock of the Hour, please subscribe for the Shock of the Hour. All you have to do is contact us. You know what to do. Is a while I haven't explained that, just contact us. Email us or WhatsApp us, area code 12687283162, and say, Honorable Priest, I'd like to subscribe to the Shock of the Hour, so we could definitely get the Shock of the Hour every day. Remember, it's every single day. Well, not every day, Monday to Thursday, we do the Shock of the Hour. And specifically, once you are a subscriber, you get the Shock of the Hour in your inbox, which is your email each and every day. So definitely, my brothers and sisters, for a very small price of only 50 United States dollars, you definitely get the program, the Shock of the Hour, every day, every weekday as such, without the Friday involved specifically. So that's almost 16 to 20 hours worth of information every month on these different subjects like what you hear. Some of our YouTube videos come straight from the Shock of the Hour. But obviously, and I'll tell you, to some of you, even on YouTube, that are, always looking for more information, we let go information every single day. But I'm telling you, half of what we do does not come on the YouTube. But once you subscribe to the Shock of the Hour, obviously you're going to be getting much, much more information specifically. So do give thanks. If you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And it takes some real eyes to realize the real eyes that are amongst us. Give thanks, Rastafari. The next month, which is June the 21st, you see the sun right, the equinox, the sun rose right in the center of the constellation known as Pisces. Let me show you what I'm speaking of. Let us just say in the year 1590, the year after, okay, the 21st day of March, we see the sun basically at the same spot. Let's check the year 1520, still there. 1521, still there. 1522, still there. 1523, still there. 1524, still there. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, still there. So in other words, in about 15 years, when we return on the 21st day of March, as we do every year, we notice that the sun is still in the same spot. Now, the sun is not in the same spot. It appears as if it's in the same spot, but the sun is moving 1 degree every 72 years. So that means the sun, in its movement of its governing power, as far as the age goes, is moving 1 degree every 72 years. I want you to keep this in mind. Remember, the sun is moving from one constellation to the other constellation, 1 per month. This is what we observe. So let's watch this. Let me show you, for example, 21st day of February, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. You see the sun moving? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1st of April, 2nd of April, 3rd of April, 4th of April, 5th of April, 6th of April, 7th of April. You see, that's how the sun moves. So every day, you see the sun traversing through the heavens, moving through the constellations, just like this. You notice Mercury and the moon passing the sun as the days go by, because this is showing you a record. So I'm going backwards as such now. In the 9th, the 6th, the 3rd, back to the 21st day of March. Now that's on the daily level. But as it relates to the age now, let me show you. So as I said, listen good, we are basically, obviously, in the year 1518. Now we are Blessed love, my family, give thanks for your presence. At this moment, we are on a mission seeking for real partners. We are establishing a real partnership in this what we consider a real war. Let me be clear from the onset. We will be speaking of finance. This is not a word to everyone. This is primarily for those who appreciate the works that we do, those who love the mission that we are on. Not appreciate hate, which means to magnify the hate, but appreciate love. Magnify the love. As most of you would know, one of our videos on YouTube was taken down a few weeks ago. That left us with a strike against our channel and a handful of restrictions for us to go over. Many people has literally told us in the past that you should monetize your channel. Now, to be very clear, I have no intention, neither did I have any passion whatsoever to do that. But even if I did, that is something that was never possible and is not possible now because of the restrictions, number one. That cannot be done. And then again, even without the restrictions, it was already restricted in the region that I am in, where I live. So Radio Anu was also taken down a few days after. And within a few days, it also came back up. As you also know, unlike many other channels, we do not make it a habit or even a part of our business at all to ask for any donations or contributions. This also is for several reasons. Number one, as we have expressed in the past, we honestly don't think that we should ask for such from an audience that can see the works that we are doing. Number two, even in the past, after being encouraged by others to solicit donations and contributions, we established the PayPal system. Those of you who have attempted to contribute via that PayPal know for sure that it never worked. There was always an issue. Email and Facebook shut down several times, plus other things behind the scenes that I would not even mention here. No Patreon and being ostracized from the executive YouTube club, I am sincerely asking you, those of you who admire and appreciate the work that we do, to assist us in this venture of uplifting our people, physical, soul, and mind. I am not asking you to contribute, and I am not asking you for any donation. I am just asking you to patronize. You know, we have begun to create a series of ebooks from Anu, Ancient and Modern Revisited, to the ebook The True Biblical Land of Israel. Of course, our children books like The Great Kings and Queens of Africa. You know, we have our video lecture series. We also have our DVD documentaries from the Master of Ceremony 7 and the Night of the Black Tiger. You also know, as it relates to Radio Anu, there's a monthly subscription where you literally get the programs that are done nightly on the shock of the hour. Of course, on one level, you will be assisting myself as I am also assisting you. It is just a genuine and justified exchange of goods and services. Now, there's much more behind the scenes that I care not to say on this medium. Now, I have no criminal record, well known and accepted in my community. but it seems like there's something coming out of my mouth that is a bother to some. And I'm not cursing, and there's no guile coming from between my teeth. Just what I consider to be the truth. My brothers and sisters who love me and love the work, as I love you as well, I'm being very straight. We're on the battlefield. So I'm asking you to partner with me, to assist me on the battlefield. We're not asking for anything as contributions and donations. We are asking you to patronize what we have to offer. Give thanks. Obviously, there would be a reason why we ask. So you could email me at priestisaac27@gmail.com and I'll give you more information. I am looking forward to hear from you. Salamta. Alafia to each and every one. Salamta and blessed love. Honorable Priest Isaac here. It is with great joy that I am happy to announce to you that I have officially released my first ebook, Anno Ancient and Modern Revisited. This is the continuation process of our easy-to-read books. Within the pages of Anno Ancient and Modern Revisited, we take the time to show you the spiritual connection with the island of Antigua and Heliopolis in Kemet in Egypt, with the island of Antigua and the legendary continent of Atlantis. We also highlight Green Castle Hill, also known as Mount Anu, which is known as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, with the countless of megaliths that align with the movement of the heavens. This is a must-read for all those who are students of the esoteric realms, astronomy, geology, and ancient sites. Of course, to get a copy of your book, all you have to do is to contact us at area code 1268-728-3162. Call, text, or even WhatsApp. Or you can email us at priestisaac27@gmail.com to get a copy of your ebook, Anno Ancient and Modern. It is an easy to read book, may appear light, but it is extremely heavy.